Well, good morning, and thank you very much to Discovery and Montgomery moving forward for this extraordinary gathering. I have to say, that this is just a dream come true for me. This has been really my life's work, and I have been so dedicated to try to figure out what is it that we need to do. And for the longest time, I felt that, we needed to advocate on behalf of this issue because it was very much connected to the academic achievement gap, right? And so, that led sort of me to join the Board of Education, work really hard in that area. It wasn't until the recession hit that I remember listening to some economists who talked about how fortunate the United States was because those developed countries in Europe, et cetera, had this aging population only. But we had an aging population and a young population. So looking ahead, we were situated in a much better space, except that young population is predominantly, as it was stated earlier by Mr. Chesner, they're immigrant children, they are black and brown children, the same children who are disproportionately affected by this academic achievement gap. And around that time, I was appointed to this White House Commission on Educational Excellence for Hispanics. And I was trying to figure out what could my contribution be, and it just clicked for me. We have been talking about this in a completely erroneous fashion. We need to reframe the way we talk about this issue. This issue is about the economic imperative for the United States. And I'm really excited that it was put on there after I met with Sharon and Mr. Beverly, because we really need to start there. How do we change the framing of this issue? And from that perspective, a lot of things follow that you're seeing today articulated so beautifully, right? We can engage our private sector. We can talk about innovative ideas. It's a bipartisan issue. And all of a sudden, everything hopefully begins to shift. And so that's where we are here in Montgomery County. Unfortunately, there's another element, which is funding. And that's where the rubber hits the road. Because we have all the best practices, we have all the analysis, we have all the statistics, we have everything. What we never have is enough funding to go to scale. In Montgomery County, this is a serious matter, ladies and gentlemen. 70% of our ESOL students are US born. That tells me that they're not in language-rich environments. This costs us so much more money to remediate for such a longer period of time. We still don't know what the scope of our need is. Actually, we're working on that. So I'm here to say that I hope this gathering leads you to this action item as a priority of how do we identify the funding stream. Some areas in the country have dedicated funding sources. Dade County is one of them. They have this children's trust. They do tie it to property tax increase. We're not going to be doing that anytime soon again. So I hope that with the participation of so many of our amazing business leaders here in the county, with us as your partner, that we can think of some very innovative, extraordinary ways to fund and make sure that we are able to tackle this in a direct way. Thank you so much for being here, and I really look forward to working with you every step of the way.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you everyone who's here today. I hope that we look back on this moment a year or two from now as the moment when momentum to really address this problem at scale began. And I hope that we are able to tackle this in a way that brings more consensus to the decision-making process. We have so much divisiveness in our county politics always because we're always tackling tough issues. The opportunity to have an issue where the business community recognizes an economic imperative and everyone recognizes a social imperative, if we can bring that together and hang together, we can get something big done, and it can be enduring and it can have a really big impact. So the chance for MMF to be this convener in a collective impact model, it's really the only way to put something together that's going to move the needle and that's going to be a positive experience for this county, and that, again, it will be enduring in a positive way. So first of all, thank you, and thank you to MMF for taking this priority as your top priority. The work that you did on workforce development had a huge impact. We have now a fantastic new model for workforce development, and MMF played a big role in that. So let's bring that to early childhood. The other thing I wanted to point out, again, to the notion of collective impact, I loved what I heard about Discovery's policy. And you're hearing that right now about other leading high-value companies in this country. They're creating parental leave policies that provide months of leave for parents. Discovery allows up to 3 months of paid leave, and then you can add your vacation on top of that, and they may have a short-term private disability insurance policy as well. Does anyone here really think that the average company is going to adopt that kind of policy anytime soon? So I think we have to grapple with that because, it's a privileged offer at this point in our economy. And we need to tackle those first 3 months. That's a big piece of the puzzle of those first 4 years, those first 5 years. It's how do you get the affordable quality care throughout all of those years? If we can make the first 3 to 6 months where if a parent wants to be home with their child, they can. We know that the health of children improves when parents are home, that breastfeeding is more common, which improves health outcomes, that kids are just doing better. And by the way, dads are staying home. Places that have parental leave policies, dads are staying home more than they would otherwise. Well, most of the kids in this county are not, their parents are working in jobs that aren't paying the kind of wages that where they can just afford to stay home. So they're going right back to work. So we can create a fund in this county that will enable parents to take advantage of their Family Medical Leave Act rights, which is, 12 weeks unpaid. Well, unpaid doesn't do you much good if you're struggling to pay the bills. So that's got to be a part of the puzzle. Universal pre-K, paid parental leave, and childcare, early education. We've got a childcare strategic plan that's in formation as a result of legislation that passed the council, and we're going to get great results from that soon. Again, let's make this the moment where action, words began to be translated into action. Thank you very much.